Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is March the 7th. A lot of games in the NBA for today. I think it's 6 or 7 games in the NBA for today. So we'll get into those. Before we do, always start with a quick recap of yesterday. I didn't play a lot yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't. I talked about how difficult I thought the card was yesterday, and I would have got steamrolled yesterday after having a pretty good week. The only thing I did play was a loser, which was the Charlotte and Miami under 229.5. It didn't matter what total you got. Miami shot 50% from the field. Tyler Hero looked like Larry Bird, and the game flew over the number. Charlotte, let up a lot defensively in that game. Didn't really expect that. Didn't see that coming, especially with Miami being 3rd and 4, second leg of back-to-back. But kind of is what it is, man. So loser there. Khalil Ware did go under his boards. We talked about under 9.5. That was the winner. And I think Knicks and Denver under was a loser. The other things that we talked about were winners, though. The San Antonio and Clipper game went under. San Antonio team total went under. And the Lakers and the Pacers did go over as well. We talked about all of those, but I didn't get there on any of those. So, like I said, losing day for myself yesterday. Need to get it back today. Think I have some plays for you guys. So let's jump into it, man. Hopefully you guys had found some ways to make some money. Brian says, hey, good morning, Chris. He said, I missed your show yesterday. Not a very good day either. So it's fine today. Yeah. It wasn't the greatest slate yesterday. I don't know. I wouldn't say I tried to force it. I just kept trying to find things. I couldn't really find anything. What's up, Jay Carter? Socks and Sneaks. Good morning, my brother. Martez, appreciate you for tapping in. Yeah, I will be on with Jay at 1 today. I will be on with Jay at 1 today for sure. Talking about the slate as well. Prolific says, man, clipped me yesterday, man. They got the job done. They did 9-1 against the number and on the second leg of a back-to-back. We're about to discuss it. So let's jump into it. So first off, we'll start with Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool. Jackson, I think I gave you guys 2 looks from Jackson yesterday. They were not good. The first one, I think they both were on totals, right? So yeah, Jackson liked the Knicks and the Nuggets under. That game flew over the total. And then like the Pacers and the Lakers under as well. And that game also, it didn't fly over the total, but it did go over the number. So both of those were losers. Today I asked Jackson for, I kind of wanted to use the same prompt and kind of look at the spread specifically, stay away from the totals. So I asked Jackson to identify the top 3 ATS edges by comparing its projected margins to the current odds for the NBA slate for tonight. Jackson likes the Hawks minus the 6 in this spot. It says that they entered this matchup as one of the hottest teams in the Eastern Conference, currently riding a 5-game winning streak. Statistically, they've dominated the 76ers this season, winning all 3 previous matchups, including the 117 to 111 victory in Philadelphia. Atlanta's offense has been elite during this stretch, averaging 118.4 points per game over the last 5, which is significantly higher than Philadelphia's season average of 115.8. 76ers are severely compromised by a catastrophic injury report. They'll be without Joel Embiid due to an oblique, Paul George due to suspension, BJ Edgecombe back. While Philly ranks 17th in defensive rating at 114.4, the efficiency craters without Joel Embiid anchoring the paint. Atlanta's multifaceted attack by Jalen Johnson, who recently is averaging 23, 10, and 8, and Dyson Daniels is perfectly suited to exploit a depleted 76ers rotation. My projection suggests that the Hawks' offensive momentum and Philadelphia's lack of star power will lead to a double-digit victory here. So Jackson actually has the edge on this one. It's 5.5 points. Thinks that the Atlanta Hawks win this game by 11.5 is what the projected line should be. The next one is on the Utah Jazz and the Milwaukee Bucks. So the spread is 9.5. Says that the projected spread should be 4.5, which means that there's a 5-point edge here. It says the market is giving the Bucks far too much credit despite their recent struggles. Milwaukee has dropped 4 straight, including the 131 to 113 blowout loss to Atlanta, where they were outscored by 23 points in the second half. The Bucks currently ranked 25th in defensive rating at 117, 26th in points per 100 possessions at 119. The inability to stop transition scoring is a major red flag against the Utah Jazz team that plays at the 3rd fastest pace in the NBA, 102.8 possessions, 102.8. Utah recently snapped a 7-game skid with a 122 to 112 win over the Washington, led by Ace Bailey's 32 points, Isaiah Collier's 27 points, and 11 assists, double-double. While the Jazz ranked 30th in defensive rating, they possess the second ranked pace and the fourth ranked assist ratio, 19.9, allowing them to keep the game competitive through high volume scoring. Milwaukee's just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 outings, and laying double digits with a team in a defensive tailspin is statistically risky. I expect Utah to keep this within 2 possessions. So says that there's a 5-point edge, like Utah, plus the 10.5 in that spot. Number is still available. I see a few 10.5s, but I do see it coming down though. I see a 9.5 as well. So take with that information, do what you guys want, and let's get into it, man. Hopefully Jackson can make some money. I kind of agree with the Bucks one. It's a game that I didn't look too deeply into, but let's jump into it. So first up, we'll start with the early game, 3:10 Eastern through, you can say 3 o'clock start time Eastern on the East Coast. Orlando Magic will be in Minnesota today. So I looked at the injury report for this game, and I think everybody will be pretty healthy. Jonathan Isaac, I do see is listed as questionable, and then of course Franz is out, and then Kyle Anderson is questionable for the Minnesota Timberwolves as he starts to make a return, to the team. So Orlando, this is first leg of back-to-back. They got a game against the Bucks tomorrow. I think a more meaningful game against the Bucks tomorrow. But they are coming off back-to-back wins, albeit against bottom-tier teams. They beat the Mavs by 1, and they beat the Washington Wizards, smoked them. And then for Minnesota, they have been playing a little bit of good basketball as of late. They've won 5 straight. They don't play until Tuesday, which I think is kind of significant in this spot. And it's their 3rd straight home game, so they've been comfortably at the crib. The total's going down, and I agree with it. Yesterday, this total was at 226.5. I didn't bet it. I probably should have got in. I still think that it could stay under this number as well. Early start time games, typically go under. We look at Orlando. They've been playing a little bit slower than they typically have as of late. 19th in pace over the last 5 games. They have played against one of the easier strength of schedules, 24th in strength of schedule. But Minnesota, just kind of bringing it defensively. Even if they don't play well in the first half, they play well, throughout the full game. They typically lock up in the second half. 5th in defensive rating over their last 5 games, 108.5, only allowing, 106.8 points. Their last 5 games are averaging just 217 points. The Toronto game was an under game as well. They kind of locked Toronto up in that spot. So I would think that they could do the same thing to this Orlando Magic offense, which is 20th in effective field goal percentage, offensive efficiency in their last 5 games as well. That's the way I would look. I think under is the right play. Don't really want to lay the number, but maybe Minnesota at halftime would be something to play in this game, just because we know that the Timberwolves do not, they play around with their food a little bit too much for me. If I was leaning, I'd probably look towards Orlando in the first half in this game if I had to, if I absolutely had to bet it. Just real quick, take you guys over to the Moneyballer. We'll get to the next game. So what I was looking at here, and I've talked about this religiously on the show, is just that the Timberwolves play around with their food. You can see as a home favorite in the first half, they are just 10-19 against the number. And the Magic as road dogs in the first half, 9-5, but not as good for the full game. The Timberwolves 12-17, for the full game, if they're a home favorite. But they play defense in this spot, specifically in the second half. So you can see their team total 28-1 to the under in the first half, and for the full game 22-6-1. So they haven't been playing as well as of late. If we just look at the last 20 games specifically, you can see that the Timberwolves, if we just go down here to their team total, 3-8 in the first half, 9-2 to the under in the full game. So all of these are reasons to like the under. I also had Minnesota at 21-8 to the under as a home favorite, 19-5 to the under if they're a home favorite facing a team that they have a better record than, 7-1 to the under if the same situation with the total that's less than 228. In Orlando, like I said, 20th in offensive rating. So yeah, I think under, but I did not play it quite yet. I think Minnesota is live to do what they do in the second half. The way I kind of think about this one. From a player prop perspective, I think what I was looking at, and the line kind of changed on me while I was capping it about 45 minutes ago. I was looking at Dante DiVincenzo in this game, and I was going to take him under his 3-point prop. It was at 3.5, and it was plus money, and it just dropped to 2.5. All the 3.5s are gone now, so I think I'm gonna stay away from that. But I had to write up and everything. I'll just read you guys what I was writing as I was typing it. Orlando's the best catch and shoot defense in the NBA, number 3 in spot up defense. Also, like I was looking at, Ayo Dosunmu being on the team. And I think that eats into some of the minutes for Dante DiVincenzo. So I when I was looking at this, his usage has dropped like almost 3% in those games. He's averaging just 2.8 made threes, which is a half a three less than what he was making on the full season. So kind of wanted to look. He does play well in in big match, like in teams that typically guard him well. But I kind of feel like he could have an off game, especially early in this one. So I was looking at Dante DiVincenzo. I can't play it now because the number's gone, but 3.5 was plus money, and it's completely gone now. So that's my thought process. As far as like Anthony Edwards goes, we know that Orlando is going to play a lot of single coverage on him. Nobody in the world can really guard Ant, but they also are number 1 in catch and shoot defense, number 3 in spot up defense. So maybe Ant under his threes. That number is 3.5, but it is super juiced to the under. Best number you can get is like a minus 152 on FanDuel, minus 150 on BetMGM. Ain't gonna shoot a bunch, but I do think Orlando they'll be glued to him for sure. So that's my thoughts on this one. Let's go back and see what you guys are thinking here. What's up, Super? Appreciate you for tapping in. What's up, Algina? Says good morning, Chris in chat. What else? Anthony Edwards 3 threes or Desmond Bane 8 rebounds and assists. I also considered the fading Desmond Bane too. I just couldn't quite get there. But I think I was looking at what was I looking at Desmond Bane? I was looking at Desmond Bane games this season when Jalen Suggs plays, and he's under his 20.5 points in about 53% of those. We know that he gets a lot of his points via spot up. He actually gets about 20% of his points via spot up. And this is the second best spot up defense. Timberwolves don't give up a lot of stuff at the paint, which that kind of led me to. I didn't play Desmond Bane, but under 20.5 points is available. Kind of lean that way. Looks like the best number you can get is minus 117 on DraftKings. So that's on my short list, I guess you could say, which led me to Paolo, right? I was looking at Paolo. Paolo, not the greatest, spot in the world, but Paolo had 43-point game last time these two teams played. So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. When they played last year, Paolo hit these boys for 43. Not really sure who they'll put on him, but Paolo is a guy that can just score the ball in the paint, likes to get to his mid range. I think they'll need some Paolo in this game, especially if Desmond Bane is going to struggle, which I kind of think that Desmond Bane will struggle. So Desmond Bane under, Paolo over, I think are highly correlated. All right, what else y'all saying here? What's up, Leonard? Appreciate you for tapping in. Philly money line today, fade City Hawks as a home fave. They have been not good as a fave, but I was thinking about this, right? And we'll talk about it when we get there, because there is a play I kind of want to take. Hawks is a home fave, 6-10 against the number. They won by 4 points, 11-5 to the under. But they won 4 straight in this spot. Hawks kind of a different team. Nicholas says Wolves team total under. We just kind of talked about that. I didn't look into Naz Reid at all, Rudy. He probably said at like 11.5, I think is where he typically sits. 11.5. I don't know. It's not the greatest matchup. It's not the greatest matchup for Naz Reid. Like I said, the Timberwolves should struggle to score the basketball because they're a team that shoot a bunch of threes, and Orlando don't give up a bunch of threes. And I think that's some of the reason why the money's coming in on the under in this game. And I may still get there with the under. The under and Desmond Bane under his points is what I like the most. Super says Randall points plus rebounds. Look at power forwards that can get to the rim in mid-range versus Paolo. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Next game up is the Brooklyn Nets and the Detroit Pistons. You're probably thinking, Chris, why are we even talking about this game? I think it's worth mentioning. So there's a player prop that I absolutely love in this spot. And there is a couple systems that I had that I wanted to share with you guys. So injury report-wise, That makes it difficult to bet early because Brooklyn only has Igor out, and then Detroit got Cade listed as questionable. Duran is probable, and they will be without Sir Thompson. Detroit also got a big game tomorrow, so it's a bit of a tricky spot. They got the Miami Heat tomorrow. That game tomorrow is a revenge game as well because they lost to Miami the last time that they played. Actually, it was on New Year's. Lost that game by 6, and they were laying 4.5 at home. I think it was in that game. So that makes this spot a little bit tricky here, especially with Cade being listed as questionable. But without a Sir in, I think that we could easily look at, and I'll show you guys this one too. Go over to Outlier really quickly. And I think that Detroit can still win the game. I think they can still cover the spread, all that good stuff. Like, I'm just not a firm believer. I talked about this like a couple weeks ago in this Pistons, in this Brooklyn team. And you got Detroit off back-to-back losses as well. Detroit lost back-to-back to they lost to Cleveland and San Antonio, and now they're rested. It is the first game back home off a 3-game road trip, but I think they absolutely blow this team out the water. So Ron Holland is the guy that I'm liking in this game today. Without a Sir, I think that he'll play more minutes. The proof kind of shows that. Looking at Ron Holland so far this season, let's just go here. Where did I write it down? Let's see. All right. So this is Ron Holland. This is his points prop. 7.5 is actually available on Hard Rock if you guys have access to Hard Rock and BetMGM, I think, but it's minus 130. So 8.5, I think, is really good money as well. You can see that, last 10 games, he's averaging 9.6, so he's over the number. We look at the full season, he's right at 8.39. So you just need him to kind of get to his average. Oh, let me minimize myself real quick so you guys can see this better. All right, so you just need him to kind of get to his average, right? And you can see he's over the number 53% of the time. So you got to love this spot, right? We know Ron Holland is somebody that gets a third of his points in transition, loves to get out and run. The Brooklyn and 27% via spot up as well. Brooklyn's bottom 4 in both of those categories. Without a min in, right? If we go here, we look at games without a Sir Thompson. We look at games without a Sir this season. I don't even look at this necessarily from like a hit rate perspective. Like, yes, he got to 9 twice, and he finished with 5 against the Wizards and then 7 against the Indiana Pacers. I look at this more so from like a minutes perspective. So this 27.6 minutes part means more to me. I need him to get the minutes so he can get the attempts, right? So 9 attempts, 26.7 minutes, right? So he's almost getting 27 minutes per game. If this game, it turns into a blowout, he'll get more minutes as well. And remember that 26 number, right? So 26.7. If we go back down here, minutes on the full season, 20, right? 20.3. So he's going to play, the numbers say that he should play about 5 or 6 more minutes. So I looked at Ron Holland in games where he played at least just 22 minutes, right? Not even 25. He's over this number in 16 of his 21 games, 76%. So love Ron Holland today in this spot against a really bad defense in the Brooklyn Nets. These boys are giving it up left and right. As far as the side goes, I feel like the total is a little tricky, because Detroit could come out and, just be cold from the beginning. I don't know if that's going to happen because I just watched the Nets get smoked in the first quarter and first half against the Heat twice. And I do think that Detroit is better than the Heat. But regardless of all that, I do think that, the way to fade the Nets is first half, potentially even first quarter. But you need Cade in. So first quarter, I think it's 4.5. First half is minus 8.5, I think. Those are the ways that I would look to play this game. Let me give you guys some historical numbers as well. So I looked at so the first one, not too historical, but just from this season. I talked about this a couple games ago. I think it was the first game they played against the Heat. The Nets is double-digit dogs since January 21st this season. Are 0-8 straight up and against the spread. Team total under, they average 90 points in this spot. They give up 123. They lose the first quarter by average of 11. They lose the second quarter by average of 7. So that is an 18-point margin in the first half on average. Historically, teams off back-to-back losses laying 12.5 or more, which the Detroit Pistons are. Their home favorites, 54% ATS, 67% ATS this season, 62% ATS if they're playing first leg of back-to-backs. Home favorites laying 12 or more with exactly 1 day's rest off a loss, 68% against the spread as well. So a lot of things that kind of back Detroit in this spot. I think if I want Detroit, I want them I think I want them first half, just in case, they end up resting some players in the second half with a big game against Miami tomorrow. So that's my thought process on this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. What else, Prestigious Prodigy? 77 Figures says, great morning. Tough card today, fellas. Locked in on Atlanta and OKC. I kind of like those 77 figures. The only reason I didn't bet Atlanta, which I know we didn't get to the game yet. The only reason I didn't bet Atlanta is because I missed the best of the number. I wrote down -5 last night, and then I dozed off and fell asleep. Woke back up. It was 6.5. So, and they probably still win and cover. I'll talk about that game when we get there. Let's see. T says 1 or 2 dogs gonna win today. It's a lot of heavy favorites. Philly ain't one of them. That's for sure. Hawks a different team now, though. Yeah, I agree with that, man. Philly gonna cover that spread. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. 76ers money line is the play. We gonna talk about it. No Philly, no VJ, no bueno. We're gonna talk about it. We will talk about it. All right, y'all not paying attention to me anyway, so let's keep going to the next game. Hit the like button if you can, subscribe to the channel. Let's go to the next game. Y'all, everybody want to talk about the 76ers and the Hawks. Let's talk about the 76ers and the Hawks. So Sixers should have Oubre. I think he is listed as he's off the injury report altogether, but no PG, no Embiid, and VJ Ashcombe is doubtful after taking that hard fall against the San Antonio Spurs. He missed that game on the second leg of a back-to-back, of course, against the Utah Jazz, and they won that game by 4, only scored 106 points. Now, yes, that was second leg of back-to-back, but that was against the Jazz defense, man. Against the Jazz defense. So you got to kind of ask yourself, right? If you're someone that hasn't made any money with the Atlanta Hawks, which I have not, in this recent streak of them winning 5 straight and covering 5 straight, can you still get paid with them laying 6.5 here? I kind of feel like if you wanted the best of the number, you missed it already. Like, I don't think it's too advantageous of a spot for Atlanta laying this big of a number. However, this team has been absolutely balling. And granted, it's been against the easiest strength of schedule. They have played the easiest strength of schedule in their last 5 games. But they did go into, to Milwaukee, absolutely beat the brakes off the Milwaukee Bucks in that spot. That was with Giannis. And then you got to ask yourself about Philly, right? 3 straight unders. Their offense is not look good at all. Granted, they played against some pretty good defenses, but crazy enough, Atlanta is actually the number 2 rated defensive team in the NBA in the last 5 games. Post All-Star break without Embiid, this Philly offense is 21st in offensive rating. We don't expect VJ to be there today. It's not going to get too much better, in my opinion. Now, Atlanta is, like I said, second in defensive rating, 5-2 to the under. Post All-Star break, they've held 6 of their opponents under their team total. They're only giving up 106.7 points per game in that 7-game span. But again, they played against some really weak opponents outside. I guess the Bucks are a weak opponent too. One thing I wanted to look at, I checked cleaning the glass, and this season it's been about, I think it was 1,196 possessions, so almost 1,200 possessions without Joel Embiid, PJ, and VJ. PG and VJ and Embiid all on the floor. 67, about to call them 67ers. The 76ers have an offensive rating of 110.2. So all things combined, I kind of feel like the best play in the game is just take Philly under their team total. That way you're not necessarily worrying about the defense. You're not necessarily worrying about, the spread. The problem that I have here is that the Atlanta Hawks offense has been clicking as well. And that same 12-game, that same 1,200 minute possession sample without VJ, without PG, without Embiid, 76ers have a defensive rating of 117.6. And then when you start looking at the pace numbers, Philly's 6th in pace in their last 5 games, but more importantly, Atlanta is 2nd in pace in their last 5 games. They got the 3rd best offensive rating. Granted, they played, like I said, the easiest strength of schedule. Not sure if we'll get too much defense from the 76ers here. Like, their defense has not been good. So that's my thought process on this game. I think if I had to play, I'd be looking at Atlanta team total under. Thinking that Philly, offense will still continue to struggle. Maybe they could play, potentially get some stops in this game. Real quick, I'm going to go back to Outlier, because if there's one person that I do want to fade today, we talked about this. Well, I don't know if I did a show or not, but I played this the other day. I did talk. Yeah, we talked about this. It was Maxey, right? And they were playing against a much better defense, right? But Maxey points and assists, like, this number just continues to be completely, in my opinion, inflated, because There is no Joel Embiid because there is, no PG and potentially no VJ Edgecombe. So we look at the full season, we can see that, he's listed at 38.5. And on the season, he's only over the number. You see 38% of the games, 23 of 60. And this is the full season so far this season. So if we look at games without Joel Embiid, so we go here, we take Joel Embiid off the floor, 34%, just 10 of his 29 games, he's over averaging 34 points and assists. And then cherry on top was taking Joel Embiid off, which we did already, and then also add VJ, because I don't think VJ is going to play. 4 games, under in all 4 games. Granted, these have been some pretty good defensive teams, right? Miami, Orlando, Brooklyn's not a good defense, but back in November, I think they were playing a little bit better defense. This game is from November the 28th, so a couple of days after Thanksgiving. And then most recently to the Utah Jazz, second leg of back-to-back, he finished with 25 and 6. I just kind of feel like the numbers are a tad bit inflated, man. You can see he's only averaging 29.5 points and assists in this 4-game sample without VJ and without Embiid. So I think Maxey under. Atlanta does have the defenders to throw at him, right? Outside of just looking at the numbers. They got some pretty good defenders on the wing. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think Maxey did hit him for a big game earlier this season, but you got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you got, Dyson Daniels that you could throw at him. And at some point in time, you would just think that, Quinn Snyder would be like, we got to make somebody else beat us. And that was part of the reason why I liked this against the Spurs in that last game as well, right? Even though the Spurs played pretty fast also. So Atlanta team total, 76ers team total under, I think 113.5 is the number. Maxey under 39.5 points and assists, my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Tommy says, I will absolutely not back Philadelphia without Embiid. Look at their offensive numbers without Embiid. Horrible. I just kind of talked about it. Tommy says, Hawks and Johnson playing like they're on a mission. 76ers play 0 defense, and that is a fact. Says he grabbed the Hawks team total at 117.5 last night. I don't think that number has moved. This total is one of the totals that actually has not moved a lot. And I typically like for it to move at least one way or another so I can know which way the market is moving. The only thing that's really moved is I guess it has moved. It's up to 119.5 minus 110 on Caesars and 120.5 on FanDuel and DraftKings as well. So Caesars got it a little bit lower, but yeah, I kind of feel like the Hawks get to 120 as well. I do think Philly's going to play fast. I just gave you guys the pace numbers 2 and 6 for both of these teams respectively in their last 5. So yeah, I guess I agree with that. Super says Dyson Daniels' points. All right, let's keep going. Warriors and the Thunder. I bet this one. We have Warriors now. Let's double check the spread real quick. Double check both of the numbers. So total 219.5 and spread 14.5. So the Golden State Warriors do have DeAnthony Milton listed as questionable. Moody is out. Isaiah Hartenstein is out for the Oklahoma City Thunder as well. This Warriors team, not good on the road, just 13 and 17 against the number on the road, just 3 and 7 against the spread in their last 10. They are coming off, a big win against the Houston Rockets where they played an overtime game. The Oklahoma City Thunder, first home game after a 3-game road trip, 3 straight unders for them as well. And they got a big game against Denver on Tuesday, the rematch game against Denver. They just played them last week. So Golden State been getting smoked by this Thunder team all season. They've lost all 3. They've failed to cover all 3. And I think a big part of that is that Golden State without Steph, they will turn the ball over. And that's the only thing that kind of scares me. But I played under 219.5. The total opened at 220.5. I looked at teams that won their last game as a big dog. So they were getting at least 8 points in their last game. They won that game. And now they're getting double digits again. And that's an under trend. About a 240-game sample is under about 57%. This season, that trend is 12-2 to the under, so about 86%. Golden State, I looked at them on the road without Steph, 8-4 to the under. Those games averaged 213 points, so that's under today's total as well. And the average total is 225, so it is a little bit higher, but they stayed under by about 10.5 points, closer to 11 points. OKC has only been a double-digit favorite with a total below 220 twice this season. They went under against the Bucks, went under against the Warriors. So both of the times they've been a double-digit favorite below 220. Both of those games have stayed under. I don't think the Warriors are going to be able to get to 103 points. I think that's their team total today. I would also look at that as well. 102.5 is available. It's juiced at minus 120, but I think the Warriors really struggle, kind of like Dallas did against Brooklyn against against the Boston Celtics last night, not getting to 100. So I think the only concern I have is that the Warriors, they will turn the ball over at times. And that's problematic because if they turn the ball over, then, OKC will be able to get out and run, and then they may be able to run this score up as well. Golden State on the full season, 26th in turnover rate. OKC forces the most turnovers in the league. Last 5 games, no better for Golden State. They got a 16.7% turnover rate, which is actually higher than their full season. So bottom 3, OKC is 4th in opponent turnover percentage, right at 17%, which is what they average for the full season. So it's the only thing I kind of worry about. I do expect Golden State to struggle, though. They're 7th in offensive rebound percentage over their last 5 games, or at least, last 2 weeks. OKC's given up the 5th fewest offensive rebounds. So I think Golden State's really going to struggle to score the basketball in this spot. Their 3-point shots aren't falling, which we know OKC can be vulnerable from the 3-point line. This game should fly underneath the total. I kind of want to add Golden State team total under as well, but we shall see. Let's see if you guys have any thoughts here. 77 Piggy says, I'm laying at 14. Golden State on sale. After taking all of people money in Houston the other night, I would agree. I would agree with that. Did I have anything else for this game? Oh, first half under 107.5. Golden State 11-2 to the first half under, playing on the road as a dog. OKC 20-10 to the first half under as a home favorite. So those two. Tommy says he's on the opposite side. He bet the over. Okay. How many points would you like? Okay, never mind. All right, and that's those games. Let's see. Let's see. Go through the other games real quick. Brian says, why not Golden State first half under only? I thought about that too, Brian. I think their team total is 49.5. Here's the problem. OKC will play around with their food, and it's their first game home off a 3-game road trip. I think that they come out and smash this Golden State team. But if there's a quarter where Golden State gets hot from the 3-point line and hits 3 or 4 or 5 threes, because they're going to shoot 10 per quarter, it wouldn't really surprise me. And I don't know when that's going to happen. Like, could it be at the beginning of the game? Potentially, right? Like, that's what we saw in the last game against Houston. I would lean towards them not being able to do so, but we shall see. A lot of this probably got something to do with Steph too, though, Tommy. But we shall see, man. We shall see. 23-25 to the over after win. Not convincing either, but we shall see. One of us going to win, one of us going to lose. Let's go to the other game. So which ones did not talk about yet? I didn't talk about only game I didn't talk about was the Clippers in Memphis and then Utah and Milwaukee. So Clippers in Memphis, I think you kind of got to wait for the injury report a little bit. Garland is supposed to be back. We'll see what happens with John Collins. He didn't play last night, of course. We'll see. You kind of want to make sure Kawhi isn't ruled out. Santi Aldama and Brandon Clark are out on the Memphis side of things. So the Clippers, second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4. They are 9-1 ATS in their last 10, 19-4 against the spread on the road. They are 8th in offensive rating, which I think is why this total went up from 225 all the way up to 229.5. So pace has increased from 28th to 17th in their last 5 games. They're playing so much faster. And I would agree with that. I think that the game goes over. I think the Clippers are able to score the basketball. Memphis has been playing super fast. Offense has struggled, but it's a little bit of a fatigue spot for the Clippers in this spot, especially having to travel last night. I do think the Clippers can get the job done early as well, potentially running out of gas in the second half. So I kind of lean Clippers first half in this spot, thinking that they'll be frustrated. I think they were leading that game by 25 points last night. It ended up losing the game. Just really couldn't score the basketball in the fourth quarter. San Antonio started to lock up defensively. Memphis is on back-to-back losses, but they have covered 4 straight. It's a triple revenge spot for the Clippers as well. Memphis won all 3, and all 3 they were dogs. And Memphis is 8th in pace, which I think is one of the reasons why this total is going up as well. So didn't bet the game, but I lean Clippers early. Think that they can get the job done. They're a much better team, but Memphis might be feisty in this one. Don't think that Memphis wants to win, but 6 is a lot to lay. With a team on the second leg of a back-to-back, especially how much energy they exerted last night to keep that game close against San Antonio. But don't want Memphis. Let's see. Any thoughts here? Brian says Clippers fell apart last night in the fourth quarter without Garland. Yeah, they did. Grizzlies first half money line. Super says so. We think it opposite. Chet Holmgren double or 28 points plus rebounds. I don't have a strong opinion on that, but Chet just been so bad, man. Chet's just been so bad. Like I'm not sure what's going on with Chet, but I know he's outside of the one game that he had that was good recently. What did Chet have in that last game? Chet had 28. Like he's just been pretty bad as far as like his points. He's only hit his points prop in like 3 of his last 12 games and like 4 of his last 15 games. So yeah, he's under in 13 of his last 20. But they have adjusted the number, and this isn't a great, rim defense at all. So Chet could potentially get busy, especially without, games without Isaiah Hartenstein, maybe. They've had some really weird rotations this season, it feels like. So games with SGA, but without Jalen Williams and without Isaiah Hartenstein, he's averaged 18.8. So he is over 10.4 rebounds as well. Just see what he did head-to-head against them early this season. So, yeah, he had 23, 21, and then 15 in the last game. Isaiah Hartenstein didn't play in that game either. Big Jalen Williams didn't play either, so you would have thought he would have did more. But they won the game by 37, so maybe he just didn't need to do as much. So maybe it is a good spot for him. He did go over in the last 2 as well. In the first 2, I'm sorry. First 2, they don't really have anything for him. He shot 9 for 9 from the field, 8 for 12 from the field. Put those 2 together. Sheesh. What's that? Not 17 for 30? I'm sorry, 17 for 21. That's actually really, really good from the field. And then the other game, he shot 5 for 8. So he shot the ball really, really well. They don't really have anybody that can guard him, in my opinion. So maybe Chet. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad look. What's up, Adam? This is another Green Knight in Association last night. Let's cash again. Love to hear that. See, like Ant, 30 points. Okongwu, 8 rebounds. Bobby Portis to hit 2 threes. 3-leg parlay, sweat-free cash. Okay. Brian says, I like the Clippers first half. Took a very good look. That's a very good look. Yeah, I think first half makes the most sense, man. You expect them to be motivated off the loss. The way that they lost that game, I was watching Ty Lue's reaction. He was kind of pissed. Like, he was definitely kind of pissed. So you can get Clippers minus 3, minus 115 on Caesars. I think that's probably the best look in that game. And then the only other game was Kevin says Brook Lopez over 1.5 assists. Okay. Only other game was Utah and Milwaukee. I'm not probably going to touch on too many Utah games. So I don't got anything for you guys there. Like nothing. I wouldn't lay with the Bucks though. That's something I'm not really interested in doing my money right now. Bucks have been so bad. I didn't run any systems or like look at anything, didn't have anything active on that game, but I know I don't want to lay with the Bucks. Not something I'm doing right now. So by default, I guess it'd be Jazz. They are rested. They're 17 and 14 against the spread on the road. Milwaukee's not profitable ATS at home. Yeah. Last game on the East Coast, only a 3-game road trip. They have covered 3 in a row. The Jazz have. And then Milwaukee has lost 4 in a row. None of them have even been close. They've lost all 4 by 15 points or more. So I want to look and see what that looks like. And it's the first leg of a back-to-back. Like I said, they got Orlando tomorrow. So Jazz plus the points would be the way that I would look, I think, in that game. Jalen Williams assists. Naz Reid over 11.5 points in the first game. Okay. Tatum got that double-double last night. I was thinking about you last night, Adam. I saw somebody tweeted it, and one of my homeboys sent it to me. There's plus 1,200. I did see that. He put like $12 to win like 200 and something or something like that. I did see that. All right, cool. That is what I have for you guys today. So let's go to see if we can get to the recap page real quick, and I'll give you guys the recap. All right, so everything that we just talked about. If I'm betting the first game, I'm taking Orlando and Minnesota under the 220. I think it's 4.5 now. I know it's not the best of the number. Well, you can get 225.5 actually. I know it's not the best of the number, but I think I think that game goes under. It was 226.5 yesterday, but I think 1 point shouldn't kill it. So under 225.5 on DraftKings. And Desmond Bane under 20.5 points. Philly, Atlanta. Philly team total under 113.5. Tyrese Maxey under 39.5 points and assists. Brooklyn, Detroit. Got to wait for Cade. Definitely got to wait for the Cade. But Detroit minus 8.5 in the first half. Ron Holland over 8.5 points. If you don't have access to the 7.5. Utah, Milwaukee, nothing. But it had to be Jazz. I know they don't have Isaiah Collier. I know that. But the Milwaukee Bucks don't have MPJ either. So it still be Utah plus the 10. Clippers first half minus the 3. I also saw Kawhi points listed at 26.5. It's juiced everywhere except BetMGM. 26.5. I was looking into the numbers with Darius Garland in, without James Harden, second leg of back-to-back. He's right about that threshold. And I don't think the Clippers have – I don't think if Kawhi is motivated, I think he can go out there and get 30 again. He dropped 30 last night, and that was against the Spurs defense. Like, who's going to guard him? So I think that's completely, live to be cashed today. And the only thing that I actually bet was Golden State and OKC under the 219.5, which is still available. Yeah, that's all I got, man. That's all I got, man. Yeah, that's all I got. Resources linked in the description of the video. Check them out if you guys are interested. Jackson Outlier, Moneyballer, Ajin. Save yourself some coin when you sign up. And that'll be it, man. I think it's a big slate tomorrow as well. So we'll be back tomorrow. Best of luck on your action today. We'll catch you guys in the next one.